today we're responding to questions that have been submitted, giving back to the fans.
Yes. How do men in relationships feel when they're inferior to their partner in regards to work, money, life goals?
I'm with an amazing partner. I've known her all my life, but it also is that I have a partner that I trust and a partner that I really have that connection with that I've built, where I feel like we are a team. So it's still like that to a certain degree, where it's like, oh, we're all one team. I think even Dave Ramsey, he had that episode where the girl called in saying, oh, what if one makes more than the other? And he goes, she hasn't had a salary for, I don't know, the last 10 years while I've been working. I don't have an income. She doesn't have an income. Yeah, we have an income. Ultimatums, friends with benefits. First dates compared from 2000s to 2025. Well, let's think about it. I mean, back in 2000, I mean, sure, we were a lot younger, but you can think of kind of how dating was in the past versus how it is now.
Sure.
The whole difference of, before you actually had to be able to talk to someone or pick up the phone and call somebody.
Yeah.
Where now everything's digital. You're on your phone, you swipe right, you go on Instagram, you slide in their DMs.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't exist back then.
Yeah, I could imagine it must have been easier back then,
Well, you think so?
Like back then, I mean, you couldn't really compare yourself to anybody else. This person treats you right, I'm happy, we're happy, like, hey, let's make it work. Nowadays, everything is like a comparison to other people. And even though they only post what they want you to see. So...
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
All right, welcome back to another episode in a bit of a different environment.
Yes.
Another section of our studio.
Yes.
Here coming back, another episode. And today we're responding to questions that have been submitted, giving back to the fans. And want to just take it from the top?
Sure, for sure.
Question number 1 submitted.
Yes. How do men in relationships feel when they're inferior to their partner in regards to work, money, life goals? Would it cause him to walk away? Is there a solution for the male partner? That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I think I can contribute a little bit to this.
Okay.
So, my partner, she is a very successful photographer. For the last couple of years, she's been growing her business. I'm extremely proud of her, from becoming a teacher to who she is today. Teacher salaries, we all know that they don't make that much money. And she's exceeded what she would make doing photography versus what she was in teaching already.
Amazing.
Just a few years, and she completely quit her job. Extremely proud of her. And it's crazy to see how successful that she's been, and for me seeing it along the way. Me, I'm in more of like a sales job where it's like maybe I make money, maybe I don't, things like that. I do have something kind of as a base, but she's always been very, very successful in bringing in clients and bringing in a lot of money. And sometimes it's more. Like last year it was more, and I think even the year before was more. And I'm there busting my ass at work. She's there working like once or twice a week, editing like crazy throughout the week. But once or twice she gets to shoot, and then the rest of the time she's in the apartment. I'm like, yo, you're living the life. But yeah, no, she does make a good amount of money, and sometimes I'm like, damn, I wish I can do this and I wish I could do that. So yeah, it does get into my head.
Yeah,
it really does bother me.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate, at least I'd like to believe so, that I'm with an amazing partner. I've known her all my life. But it also is that I have a partner that I trust and a partner that I really have that connection with that I've built, where I feel like we are a team. It's never really felt like, oh, this versus that. It's always been like, okay, well, this is us. This is how we're doing things. This is how we're tackling things. And I think that that's the type of healthy relationship you want to be in. And if you are in that relationship, you have this sense of security within that relationship. That thought, it becomes very faint after a while. It starts to really dissipate. It starts to be really, really small because you just know how healthy the relationship is. And that's kind of where I feel like I am. I mean, I'm sure that there's other people I've seen that, they kind of get walked all over, and then they get dominated, and they're like, well, you don't do this and that. And then they're almost like more of the feminine role that they take because of that, because the woman takes like the more masculine role of working and bringing in the money. But I've been fortunate to be in a very healthy relationship where we don't have that. We really do feel like it's a team. It's a one-team thing. And in most other type of relationships where the man is the one bringing, the big money, where instead the woman might not work at all.
Yeah.
So it's still like that to a certain degree, where it's like, oh, we're all one team. I think even Dave Ramsey, he had that episode where the girl called in saying, oh, what if one makes more than the other? And he goes, she hasn't had a salary for, I don't know, the last 10 years while I've been working. I don't have an income. She doesn't have an income.
Yeah,
we have an income. So that's kind of what you want in the partner that you're dating.
100%. Yeah, I love that.
Went on a little tangent there, but
yeah, but I really love that, and I guess it depends what kind of partner you have. Because if that partner, let's say, that woman makes more or is more successful, and she kind of rubs it in every single time, or kind of like tries you and challenges you in that manner where it's like you kind of start building resentment in that sense, I would imagine.
Sure, yeah.
So you do have to be with a partner that kind of pushes you and stuff like that. But I guess it all depends like what you want in life. If you're complacent, and if you're like, if as a man, like if you're just going through an emotion and you spend your free time, not doing anything about your circumstances and the position that you're in, I could see how at some point the two of you guys will grow out of each other, grow apart. So I could see that, I would have to say, and I'm like similar position because I'm super proud of Claudia. Like she's like killing it at work and great position. And so for me, it's like, I mean, I'm financially, I make more, but like I'm like not where I want to be, and like what I do, like I'm a bartender, so it's like sometimes it does fuck with me when I'm like, like I'm not. That's not what I want to do for my life. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So then it's like, yeah, the money, I make money, but it's like, is that really what I want to do? Of course not. Especially now as we're like growing and we're married and doing all these things, and it's like that's not what I'm proud of. So that could fuck with my head, not the money aspect, but just kind of the position that I'm in.
Interesting.
And from a societal aspect of it, yeah, like I don't want my wife to introduce me as like, oh, what does he do for a living? Oh, he's a bartender. Like that's not really, yeah. Like to be honest with you. So even though her position is great, whatever, but I make more than her. But it's not about the money. It's about where I am, like I don't know what the status, kind of. I don't know. But for me, I want to do what I love, and obviously, it's not it's not bartending. And money's great, but it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. So. In that aspect, like, she kind of pushes me to do more, and that I want to get out of this. I want to get out of that. I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. So I could see how that could a little bit like mess with a guy, especially somebody who's ambitious and who's hardworking. But she reiterates, she's proud of me. She supports me no matter what. So again, it goes to what you were saying. You have to be with a partner that is supportive. And as long as you're hardworking and driven, and you're aspiring to be for more, I think you can overcome that little bit of a hurdle.
Yeah,
I would say.
And to just finish off on the last two questions that were kind of within that same message, would it cause him? Oh, interesting. So there wasn't enough space to submit the question, so they took a screenshot and submitted it all in one because it's a long question. So the entire question here finishes off with, would it cause him to walk away?
Yeah.
Is there a solution for the male partner? So I mean, it could. I can totally see where a male partner could walk away if they are not with a supportive partner. If they're with a partner that's going to be like degrading or being like, oh, like, why aren't you making money? Or I make one, you things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like women, we hear that it's harder for them to walk away when they have that kind of, I don't want to say that lifestyle, but we've had stories of they're like, oh, when they're victims, or they feel like whether it's economic abuse or whatever. What is it called? Financial abuse. Financial abuse. But it's like, oh, like I can't leave because of this, and they've supported that, and this my whole life revolves around that. In this point, it's like men, if they can and they're in the position to, I can totally see how they can walk away if they feel like they're being treated a certain way.
Yeah.
And then is there a solution for the male partner? I mean, you got to be ambitious. You just have to try to get yourself out of a situation that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
You can't just be complacent. That's
If you just spend all your free time, I don't know, playing video games or not doing shit, then it's like you can't really complain that your partner is passing you in their respective career.
Yeah.
So,
well, on to the next.
What do you got?
Maybe we should talk about. I think a safe one would be ultimatums, friends with benefits. First dates compared from 2000 to 2025.
I don't really know what the last part means.
Well, let's think about it. I mean, back in 2000, I mean, sure, we were a lot younger, but you can think of kind of how dating was in the past versus how it is now.
Sure.
The whole difference of, before you actually had to be able to talk to some people or pick up the phone and call somebody.
Yeah.
Where now everything's digital. You're on your phone, you swipe right, you go on Instagram, you slide in their DMs.
Yeah.
Like that didn't exist back then. And I think also the amount of options that we have now versus back then
was like limited.
Yeah, you were kind of limited to who you knew around you, and when you'd go out and their group of friends or someone from school or work, where now you can literally be anywhere in the country or in the world, really.
Have access to such a huge amount of, like a huge dating pool that sometimes it could just be like, instead of working it out with some person or whoever you're seeing or, going for it, well, things don't go the way you want them to be or whatever, you just find somebody else in a different city, state,
Correct,
country.
correct.
And so, yeah, I could imagine it must have been easier back then, you know?
Well, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, like, because now with all the options that you
Well,
have, the access, dating, online dating, social media.
I think it's easier to have access now.
Yes.
But easier back then to what? Have to be with someone?
No, to date, but like to make things work, to try to not let, social media give you like this false image of like what dating's supposed to look like. Like back then, I mean, you couldn't really compare yourself to anybody else. If this person treats you right, I'm happy. We're happy. Like, well, great, let's make it work. Nowadays, everything is like a comparison to other people, and even though they only post what they want you to see, so
Yeah.
I can see. I mean, I guess it's a two-way street, but I could see how maybe back in the day there was not as much pressure. Maybe
Yeah.
is that the way of putting
Well,
it?
and to add to that, because it's not just about how to get the date, but it's also where to take them on a date.
Yeah.
I feel like the bar gets set higher and higher every single year,
Oh, yeah.
right? But new expectations, new experiences, things to discover. We have all these new restaurants coming out. The other day, it was one of my fiance's friend's birthday, and she was doing a happy hour, and traffic was kind of pretty aggressive, so we couldn't get there. But regardless, I'm like, let me check out the place. Let me see what we can order. And I'm like, dude, there was like $300 dishes, $200 something dollar. I'm like, I don't think we should be going to this place.
Yeah, let's
right
turn
now.
around.
But it's like, just think of like how these new restaurants are opening, and this is what's on their menu, and people are actually paying for that. Obviously, we live in Miami; it's very different. But back in the day, go to the movies, go to a nice little restaurant, maybe get some ice cream,
Yeah,
go to the
walk in the
beach,
park.
walk in the park.
Back then.
Now it's just like, no, you got to go to Komodo and Brickell.
Yeah,
It's
true.
like you're
And
a
it's
bum.
this crazy thing is like, how much should you spend on a first date? And some of these women are like, $200, $300, $400, $500
On a first date,
on a
yeah,
first
of course.
date.
You got to impress.
Exactly. You think 20 years ago any person would even think that way?
No.
Inconceivable.
It's just crazy because back then, like, you hear of a date that has like $500, you think like you fed a small family. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
in a nice restaurant. But it's like now, like, that's like a regular dinner for two at some of these Miami restaurants.
Wait, didn't you just go had a nice little? You had a nice little dinner, right? The other day somewhere. That was must have been.
It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't hefty, but it
It was more than the normal.
yeah, it was more than
than
one
you
would.
normally would pay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's just like like whatever, nice little date.
Yeah.
But think about you dating someone, you meeting someone, you want to impress them, you want to woo them. Imagine doing these things like for somebody you don't really know. Like that was that's your fiance. But imagine doing that with somebody you just met.
Yeah, dude.
6 hours.
I fell
3,
down
4
that
hours
trap
ago.
once before. I remember I went out. I spent like $300 on drinks and food, and I wasn't even feeling it. I don't even know why I was doing it.
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
man.
Dude. You gotta dispute the charges the next day. You're like, fuck.
Other than that, friends with benefits and ultimatums. I mean, like,
Friends with benefits. Never really been in that situation. I don't know. It's not really my cup of tea. I don't really see that never ends well from what I've understood.
it's just to ask yourself what it is that you're looking for. Like,
Yeah,
if
sure.
you don't want anything serious, I mean, just know just like you said, it's never gonna end well.
Yeah.
But it is I don't want to say safer situation to be in, but safer for your current emotions. But it's gonna be worse later on.
Yeah.
But less serious, less commitment. However,
Because I feel like someone always catches feelings, right? Usually one of the two. It could be you. Could
little
be the other
jealousy.
person.
It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really care. Nothing serious happened. We were just doing this and that. And then you see them with somebody else, and you're like, yo, hold up.
Yeah, exactly.
Thought I was
Maybe
a friend
do-
with the benefits.
Exactly.
I'm not the only one.
And then it's like, who do you? Are you invested into that?
Yeah,
you know,
dude, not a good idea.
stupid.
Not a good idea.
Ultimatums. Are you a fan of ultimatums? I mean, in what context, right?
It's
Because
either me or the dog.
or either you propose or I'll leave.
Yeah, either you leave him and stay with me, or you leave me alone.
But like
Finally.
ultimatums, I think in general.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think about the ultimatums? Because in your not to get too personal, but didn't you have something similar where you were dating and your partner was like, hey, listen, I want to get married, I want this, da da da. That's
true,
somewhat-
fair. Damn.
If you want to talk about it,
No,
no,
it's
cut it
good.
out.
Good one. She doesn't watch these episodes anyway.
She was kind of like, this is what I want. This is what I've dreamed of. Like
Right.
this, either we do this or
Yeah.
we're gonna have to part ways. kind of an ultimatum.
It is an ultimatum.
Soft ultimatum.
I think, but it's also okay. I believe ultimatums. Yes, okay, I support. I think it's fair.
Okay.
The reason why is because you do want to know what the hell is happening.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes if you have no clarity, or if you feel like you're not getting the response you're looking for, it's almost like, okay, well, this is what I need from you then.
Yes.
In order to know. Okay. Like I get you're all over the place and you don't know. This is what I need to know if this is something that's going to work. I'm going to talk about relationships. Yeah. I think it's super important because I'm very happy with Christina.
Yeah.
And I've, been with her for a while now, and I've known her for my whole life. I feel so secure. I opened up with how happy I am in my relationship. I can't imagine what my life would be without Christina. Right. And whether I don't believe in marriage or I don't really care for it, I knew that if I wanted someone, a partner for the long term, someone that I trust, loves me and supports me and cares about me, she's the person who showed me that. I do want to be with her. Yeah. And I don't want to risk losing her because I don't believe in marriage or I don't care for marriage. Like, I don't know. I don't know if maybe in the future it may have been the wrong choice. Right now, I feel like it's the right choice, and I'm very comfortable with that decision. But I can see how other people are like, well, I don't know. And then they do something that they don't really want to do because of the ultimatum.
Yeah.
So, but
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because then there's that other part of the ultimatum where you think, okay, well, you're going to pick me. That means that you're not doing the other stuff anymore. But then they still do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'd have to stick with it. Their actions are going to show you. But at the end of the day, I support ultimatums. I think it's important because it's like, here's my line.
Yeah.
Here's my boundary.
My boundaries. That's literally what I was about to say.
This is where I'm going to go up to. If you're about it, great. If not, no. And if you say yes, if you show me otherwise, then okay, no, we're done.
Yeah.
However, just make sure you stick to that ultimatum.
All right. Yeah, this is what I need from you. If you can't do this, then this is my line. I like it. I support it.
Yeah. There was another question. We're not going to go into it, but asked by the same person. Essentially, everything that we've just talked about ultimatums should apply to that question. My fellow question asker, audience member.
And who went their entire life without ever dating. I mean, how old are they? I mean, it's kind of odd. You never dated? I mean, what, serious dating or commitment or that we kind of have talked about this in the past. I don't know. I think that's kind of odd.
No, I don't really think it's odd, man.
In what sense?
I mean, yeah.
How old are you? Let's say you're 35 years old. You never dated?
If the concern, I'm not going to talk about people who haven't. I'm just going to try to aid people who haven't. So for men who have never dated, go on YouTube and look up how to talk to girls and how to date. And I'm sure you're going to be able to find a ton of videos of how to, and try them out. See if it works. That's the only thing I can tell you. Because to your point, if they're older, is there a strange factor to it? Sure. At this point, you should definitely know. You didn't take your youth years to practice yourself.
Okay, yeah.
And to, experiment. So now I think you probably need a little bit more coaching. And at that point, I would say, you can write to us. Maybe we can assist you with that.
For sure.
But if not, if you want the free version, you can go on YouTube, type up how to talk to girls, how to approach women, how to start dating. And they'll start giving you some style tips on how to look, how to talk to people, how to approach to women, what conversations to have, what interests to discuss. And the only way to really know if it works is just to try it out.
You have to go,
some thick skin.
It's an uncomfortable experience because at first you're not going to know what the fuck to do. You're going to be nervous. You're going to fucking stutter. And you're going to be insecure. It's one of those things that you get better as you practice with like many things. So, I mean, just buckle up, man. It's going to be a bit of a rough start, but anything is possible. Anything is possible, and anyone can get better. Even if they're 35, 45, however old you are, it's never too late to start dating.
Absolutely.
I like that. Perfect. Any other questions, guys? Send us DMs, send us messages. I think that was kind of all of them for
yeah,
man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Different setting, but a lot of things are happening, so
stay tuned. We got some updates coming at you.
For sure. That being said, see you guys.
Ciao. By the way, if you're here still, this was a scab. So if you saw it throughout the episode, sorry, it's disgusting.
Oh shit. Okay. See ya.